Today is July 17th, 2023, and I am going to share with you the therapy and self care I gave myself this past Christmas of 2022. Yes, as in 7 months ago. The reason I am sharing this is because I am just now seeing the benefits of my actions from Christmas of 2022. So, therefore, I have named this one Christmas in July, self-care. This past September 2022, my ex-husband passed away, and all I could think about were all the things that I haven't done, but really wanted to. Because I was so young when I met him, I was 19 years old and he was 43. There were so many things that I wanted to do on my own when I got older that I never got a chance to do. They were small things, yet important things to me. One thing was, I always wanted to have a themed Christmas with everything being purple and silver or white. I absolutely love the color purple, and growing up, I saw many Christmases from family and friends and on TV. From everything that I saw, I always wondered what it would look like if I had an all purple and white or silver Christmas. Because my ex-husband was so stuck on controlling pretty much everything in my life, and the fact that we did not celebrate Christmas, the opportunity for me to fulfill childhood desires never presented itself. After he passed, all I could think about was all the things that I haven't done yet that I would like to do and experience. Experiences make us who we are and shape our personalities. I'm not really a patient person when it comes to small, tedious things. For example, I do not take pleasure in gardening. I don't have the patience for it, and I don't enjoy it like some do. For some, it's relaxing, it's therapeutic. For me, it's stressful. Arts and crafts, I feel the same way about arts and crafts. I do not enjoy the cleanup. For some reason, though, I always wanted to be in charge of decorating for Christmas. To me, that's surprising because it can also be tedious. For some reason, I was looking forward to this one, though. My mind was going into some dark places after my ex-husband passed. All I could think about was how my daughters only have one parent left, and how all of a sudden it's all up to me to make sure that I can prepare them for a time when I'm not here anymore. I began to go really deep into those thoughts, and it was very hard to come out of those thoughts and not have them consume me. They were definitely consuming me. The only way I knew how to show my daughters how to live was to simply live my life in front of them. Because of how religious we were when I was still with my ex-husband, it was frowned upon to even think about fulfilling your own desires. It was looked at as selfish and evil. Actually, I remember very vividly that the definition of evil was selfishness. That is what my ex-husband learned from his extended studies of the Bible, so therefore that is what I learned from the Bible and my daughters also. My goal was to show them that it is okay to fulfill your own desires. There was no way that they were going to just do it on their own. They needed to see someone who understood, who knew, and lived what they lived to show them it's okay to step out of the cycle of what they've been taught their whole life. So I sat my daughters down mid-November and told them, come December 1st, I'm going to watch a Christmas movie every night, and you are welcome to join me. While I am watching a Christmas movie every night, I will be decorating the apartment for Christmas. I told them the theme and everything. They said okay. I asked them if they wanted to participate in Christmas this year, They were very hesitant because it is not something that they know or have ever done. They were taught that having a Christmas tree in your house was a form of worshiping other gods. That is literally all they knew growing up. So when I told them that I might get a tree if I can afford it, so don't be afraid, they were like, okay. One of my daughters requested that we watch Home Alone 1 and 2 on Christmas Eve, and so I wrote it on the calendar. Prior to December 1st, a few requests or suggestions would be given, and I would just write those on the calendar too. That way, if they wanted to participate with me, they knew what I was watching and they could decide if they wanted to be there. It was here. December 1st was here. I put my youngest to bed, and then I began putting up decorations that arrived from Amazon and that I bought from the store. The first movie I watched was The Muppet Christmas Carol. I didn't really know what anything was going to look like, but I was determined to follow through with my plan for my sake and my daughter's. It was important to follow through on my word for myself and for my girls to see their mom, who came out of the same environment as them, step out and do what makes me happy. I was scared though. It was ingrained in me that once I go down this road of fulfilling my own desires, it is going to lead to hell. Who the fuck wants to go to hell? Even though I'm not even sure what my beliefs are at the moment, it didn't stop the thoughts that I was doing something wrong and I was teaching my girls to live wrong. And I was convinced that before the night was over, something bad was going to happen to me or one of the girls. That was the kind of fear that was placed in our religious environment. If we did anything that was not in the Bible, according to the studies my ex-husband had conducted, it was damn near instant death. I know it sounds crazy, but that was my mindset, and it was this exact mindset that I was battling come December 1st. I cried myself to sleep that night because I was so terrified of what I have just done. But when I woke up the next morning on December 2nd, I realized that even though I stepped out and did something really scary, I woke up and I was still alive, and for that I was grateful. That was my sign to keep going, and so I did. Night after night, movie after movie, for a whole month. I saw a small tree for $65 outside of a store I was shopping at, and I thought, I can go back for that next week. The only thing is, I wasn't sure if I wanted a real tree because I'd have to care for it, and I can barely keep flowers alive. My boyfriend was like, save your money, and he gave me an artificial tree that he wasn't using anymore. Christmas was really big in his house growing up, and he had gotten a new tree, so it worked out well. There were nights when I had no idea what I was doing. Sometimes I would have to go to the store and grab batteries or an extension cord or hooks to hang the ornaments on the tree. It was an experience that I longed for, so I wasn't frustrated or anything, because in my mind I was learning something that I had an interest in. I was doing something that I wanted to do, and I was doing it my own way. I was getting the lights on the tree, and there were visibly these big gaps without any lights. So my plan was to go to the store the next day, grab a couple of more lights, but my boyfriend had offered to give me some. But when he told me they were colorful lights and not the all white ones that matched my theme, I told him, no, because they don't match. He chuckled, he said, okay. I think he understood. One thing I am learning is to speak up for myself, what I want and what I don't want. It is not easy learning how to express yourself when your expression is constantly challenged, corrected, and ridiculed. I long to be heard. I long for it so bad. Everything came together well. The whole process was extremely therapeutic. Pretty much being in my own world for a month, tending to my own needs, my own wants and desires, making myself happy and not waiting for anyone to give me the green light to anything, and not having to explain my every move and thought, and proving that this action is not stupid, or having to prove how this desire will better or improve my life. Everything we did when I was married to my ex-husband had to be for the quote unquote whole. He was really firm on everyone being involved. Now, that might sound great from an outside standpoint, but when you were the one experiencing it, it was difficult to be an individual. If someone was sick, we were all sick. If one of us had high blood pressure, we all had high blood pressure and had to eat accordingly. If he wanted to fast, we all had to fast. But it also worked in reverse. If he didn't like something, we all had to not like it or enjoy it. If anyone wanted to do something that he didn't want or like doing, none of us could do whatever that was. If it didn't benefit everyone, then it was selfish and pointless. And he made sure that you knew he did not approve, constantly berating you and degrading you and calling you stupid, until you ultimately gave up trying. And then in the end, he got what he wanted, which was for you to finally give up the notion of wanting whatever it was that you wanted. It just felt amazing to finally fulfill something for me and only me. In the end, I learned that I am on the right track. I learned that my daughters and everyone else around me will support my decisions when I make them. I learned that we can't live in fear of what might happen next. We just have to keep moving forward and do the things that have been put on our hearts. I learned that you have to slow down and just be in every moment and embrace every moment. And I learned that it is important to speak up for yourself in whatever it is that you want, so you don't live a life of resentment and or regret. FYI, this is a 2-part series. My next journal entry will be Christmas of 2021, and it's titled Cult Fears. I will talk about the very first Christmas my daughters have ever celebrated. Stay healthy. Self-care is not selfish. Until next time.